With 8 days to the crucial runoff vote, French President Emmanuel Macron has offered supporters 5 years of national renewal if he's re-elected. Well, to tell us a little bit more about this crucial runoff, we're now joined by political commentator and researcher on French politics, Hamid Chriet. Thanks so much indeed for joining us. Always good to have you on the program. Welcome to you.
Thank you, Peter. How are you?
Good.
Thank you for all of you.
I suppose this showdown, Emmanuel Macron and Marine Le Pen, was almost predicted, a repeat of the 2017 election. But what is different this time that's got pro or anti-far right demonstrators worried that they need to get onto the streets?
Well, as you mentioned, yeah, it's very good, important point. I believe that the rhetoric of the anti-far right doesn't work today. The political situation in France is different than in 2017, where Emmanuel Macron had said that we need an anti-front against the far-right candidate, Marine Le Pen. But today, the political situation and the context is different. We have the COVID-19 with the sanitary crisis. We had the law of separatism with Macron. We have the bill about the police brutality, the global bill, which is so-called, which was very controversy, was passed by the parliament. We have, of course, the Russian invasion in Ukraine. I believe these all factors are very major to the French people, and this is we lead for the vote for this second round. Of course, there is a third demonstration were planned for this Saturday in France to say no far right, but I believe that as well. This opposing, of course, the Emmanuel Macron and the National Rally Marine Le Pen to the outgoing president, as I mentioned, Emmanuel Macron, but they are all against the far right, and they do not spare the French president, even missing the two contenders back to back. So I believe there is also a critic against the French president, but as well against Marine Le Pen. And of course, for this second round, I believe that the most political party who will win will be the abstention. The abstentionists are getting more and more in France. They are not satisfied about the Macron policies, but as well they are not satisfied with the program of Marine Le Pen. So there is, as I mentioned previously before, when we had the program, I said that there is a political crisis in France, and we're living in.
Okay, Hamid, if there is a massive stay away because of these people who just don't like either candidate, who will that benefit more, Macron or Le Pen? Well,
I believe the third candidate, JeanLuc Melenchon, will benefit because of this rivalry against between Marine Le Pen and Macron. The former president, or the
but he's not in the race anymore.
Well.
But he's not in the race anymore.
He's not in the race. But let me raise a very important point. Do not forget that even if the president will be elected, but he will not have the majority in the French Parliament, because after 15 days we will have a legislative or parliamentary election in France. So we can have as a scenario JeanLuc Melenchon as a prime minister. And this will be a very tough exercise for Emmanuel Macron in order to govern the country. So I believe that the who is going to benefit this is, of course, JeanLuc Melenchon, obviously.
So what does JeanLuc Melenchon bring to the party? I mean, tell us a little bit more about him and what it might mean to have a prime minister like him with Macron or Le Pen as president.
Well, JeanLuc Melenchon has this major force, third party, which is the Union, the Popular Union, who gathered the diversity and the suburb area, the popular area, and others classes, social classes. And he did the 22%, so it was less than 600 voters in order to get the second round, which is very close to Marine Le Pen, the candidate They have been separated with, as well, as I said, 600, less than 600, maybe 500, something like that. So I believe this Union Popular, the JeanLuc Melenchon party, will of course benefit with this after the parliamentary election, and we can have, of course, a government of cohabitation between the President Macron and JeanLuc Melenchon, and it will be very difficult for Macron to govern the country. So obviously, this will be a major factor for the Popular Union, the left.
Is this runoff going to be closer than 2017? Because in the first round of votes, Macron did much better now than in 2017. Is that going to point to what might happen on the 24th? Or the polls are suggesting it'll be closer, but it doesn't seem to make sense given what's happened in the first round.
Well, do not trust the polls blindly. I mean, polls they did a lot of mistakes, but for this round, I don't think so that Emmanuel Macron will win easily. I don't believe so, because the context, as I said, is very different. Macron was a new president with a new face. He was the new generation, as the youngest president in the Fifth Republic. He had a new program. He mentioned a lot of promises for the youth generation, but he deceived a lot of French people how he managed the sanitary crisis and the bill of separatism. So there is a lot of things that people are very angry about the Macron policies. I believe the second round will be very close between Marine Le Pen and Macron. It will not very easy to win for Macron, but now he's doing a campaign in meeting people in the street in order to discuss with them, to convince them to vote for them. But I'm not sure that it will work, because the French people are very deceived by his policies, and they don't believe now in politics. There is, as I said, a democratic crisis in France, and we need really to change the republic, the regime of the Fifth Republic, in order to give more proximity with the French citizens, such as a referendum, local referendum, regional referendum, or national referendum, in order to give them a power to decide for themselves if they want, some program for the ecology, about migration, etc., and vice versa.
Marine Le Pen, 2017, she was very pro-Trump. She was talking about leaving the European Union. Has she distanced herself from or softened her stance on some of these issues to try and get over the line this time? Well,
Marine Le Pen, she was, of course, pro-Putin. She is a pro-Putin, but she's pro as well Trump. She's a nationalist, so she will defend the patriots, as she called. But I believe that today this discourse will not work with the French people, because at the end of the day, French people have been affected by the the inflation due to the Russian invasion for themselves. So I believe today the French people want to really have a minimum salary, the increasing of the minimum salary. What they want is to have a job, to have a house, to have a car, and to live normally with other citizens, and to fight the inequality in France, and to fight as well the poverty. Macron did not answer to these old questions that French people are still waiting for.
So life is hard for the average French citizen, cost of living, all of that. I suppose the French have to make up their mind who they think might do a better job in trying to fix a post-COVID-19 economy, and also now an economy that's going to be affected by the Ukraine conflict. Both sides, have they presented convincing arguments of why they should be given the chance to lead France for the next 5 years?
Yeah, we have noticed that both of the candidates proposed a social program. Emmanuel Macron, he proposed the age of retirement to 65. Marine Le Pen, she came back by saying that she wants the age of retirement to 62. But I believe Marine Le Pen, how she was clever is to, of course, propose social reforms, saying that she will help by a preference, national preference to the French citizens when they applied for jobs. So she will also help the French people in order to help the migrants. So she will prioritize by helping French people. Emmanuel Macron did not answer to the old question, and we still are waiting for a second round, a debate for this second round between Marine Le Pen and Macron. I think this election today, people are very frustrated. We did not have a debate in the second round between the old candidates. We used to have a debate. So people now did not follow this second round. They are frustrated, and they feel like they are very condemned by these two choices as it was in 2017. This is, I believe, that this is because of the same scenario that we had in 2017. People are now are not going to vote for this second round, and the abstention will be the first political party in France.
All right. I mean, this suggests that it could be more about who they like least rather than who they like most that might win this election. And if that's the case, then I suppose both candidates have to look at what their major weaknesses were. It was at some point, I think, a big issue, Marine Le Pen, how she spoke about people of the Islamic faith. Macron himself has been challenged with what he calls Frenchness and the French way.
Well, the problem is the two candidates, they have a distinguished discourse, but in the reality, Emmanuel Macron was the candidate, was the president who stigmatized the French Muslim community by closing mosques, by targeting some human rights association who they were fighting against the Islamophobia. We know that clearly the program of Marine Le Pen. Marine Le Pen, she wants to ban the hijab in the street, the veil. So we know, of course, there is a distinguished program between two candidates, but Emmanuel Macron is not very clear about the Muslim community because he had previously targeting French Muslim people, saying that Islam is in crisis in 2019, when he said that, and this is a spread hate in the Muslim world, targeting the French expats in the Muslim world, and also engaging a boycott for the French product, do not forget, in the Muslim world as well. So today, I believe that Islamophobia must be a priority for the government, for Emmanuel Macron, in order to convince the French community to vote for himself.
All right, so your prediction, Macron victory, but Mélenchon will become Prime Minister.
It can be, yeah. It could be.
Hamid, always a pleasure talking to you. We'll chat again around about the 24th. Merci beaucoup. À bientôt, mon ami.
It's my pleasure. Merci. Thank you.
All right, that's one of our regular political commentators there from France, a researcher and politics commentator for us, Hamid Chriet.